Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Yasmin and I make all kinds of home content videos here on my channel, from cleaning and organization to DIY decor to full room makeovers, furniture flips, and IKEA hacks. And today we are here to talk about my top 5 IKEA hacks that I have done so far, and I'm just going to share some details from each project with you, the things that I've learned, and if I would change anything, if I could go back and redo the project or try this project again in the future. So we are going to start off with the first project, which is the last project that I have tackled, also the biggest project ever that I've done, and we're standing right in front of it, which is the built-ins in my home office. So essentially these built-ins are built from IKEA Billy bookcases and a set of Alex drawers. And really the key with this project is having patience. I just really had to be patient with this as I was especially working on it on weekends. I have a regular Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. So it took several weeks to actually complete, but I am so proud of it. And it's such a good alternative and actually more affordable than actual built-ins from raw materials. What I did was I went to IKEA, bought 4 set of Billy bookcases, 2 skinnier ones and 2 regular ones, and I also bought the extensions for the top to make it taller, add another shelf, and then buying 2 sets of Alex drawers and a tabletop, and essentially putting them together. Obviously I measured to make sure this kind of fits in my room. Some of the things that were really crucial and made a difference in this project was really nicely attaching all of the pieces together so it does actually look like a built-in and not separate pieces, and adding trim. That was very important. Again, you want it to look built-in and not like IKEA pieces. That is the goal. And so we added trim to the sides, to the top, to the bottom. That really finished it off. And this is something that you really need to pay attention to, all of those details for it to come out good. And for example, you need to caulk all of the seams and patch all of the holes if you want this to look like a built-in. So actually something that I learned new from this project that I did not know was using something called a backer rod. So if you have a large gap that you need to caulk, obviously the caulk needs to sit on something, otherwise it's gonna fall if it's a big gap. So there's something called backer rod. They sell them in different sizes. It's a piece of foam. You insert that into the gap that you have and then you caulk over it. The other thing that I think made a huge difference was adding some aesthetic details. Again, you just kind of want to really think about your vision. And so I added doors to the bottom of all of the Billy bookcases because I did want some closed storage for things that are not so pretty. You know, this is my office. I want to store my DIY supplies and all of that stuff. And then just selecting really cool handles and knobs to add to them. Again, there's a variety of things, vintage, new, whatever style, shape, but I think that's very important. So swapping that out instead of using the knobs that come with the doors from IKEA, that's a huge game changer. And then I also added wood fluting to the front of the drawers, which I absolutely love. And I know it's been trendy, but I just love it anyways. Again, some like cute knobs and tying it all together. And you know what? It's my room, so I have made some choices that maybe some people don't love. I have different color knobs and handles, but I absolutely love it. Mixing metals, so do you, and just make sure that you pay attention to those details. If I had to change anything, if I could go back or if I was to tackle this project again, I think it would be that I would use an actual cabinet paint for everything. So even though I, followed the proper process of sanding all the pieces really good, using a shellac west primer, whatever, to make sure it's durable. It is durable. I use regular latex paint, and actually up to this point, I've always just used regular like wall paint, latex paint on every other furniture project that I've done so far, and no problem. But I think because this is such a large piece and redoing it, refinishing it would be very time consuming, I would just invest a little bit more in actual cabinet paint that just has that much more durability. So then you are like 100% confident as opposed to 95+%. So that would be the one thing that I would change if I could go back and redo this. Either way, I love the color of this room, even though it took me forever to pick the color. I'm so happy with it. I'm so proud of this project. And honestly, if I could do it, you could do it too. I say just go for it. It's not even that hard. It doesn't require a lot of power tools. It requires a lot of patience. That's the one tip that I will give you if you're tackling this project. Just be patient and take your time. But anyways, I will leave all of the videos related to this office makeover in the description box for you. I actually have a full dedicated playlist, so make sure to go check it out if you're interested. But yeah, that is the first IKEA hack that I wanted to share with you. All right, let's talk about my second favorite IKEA hack, which I'm also sitting in front of, and that is the buffet in our dining room. So we really needed some extra storage for our glassware, our dishware, and I basically created this designer looking cabinet using 2 of the IKEA Ivar cabinets, and I think these actually retail for $100 a piece, but I found them in the as-is section at IKEA for even cheaper than that. So maybe that's the first tip I'm going to share with you. Always check the as-is section at IKEA. You never know what you're gonna find, but a lot of times they have the decor pieces, furniture pieces marked down, and they're not even damaged, they're just returned. So definitely check it out, and I was able to save a couple of bucks by buying these from the as-is section, which worked out great. But essentially the main thing with this project was that I used wood fluting for the front of the doors to create this very textured look. Again, I love the fluting. It was very trendy back then. It's still trendy, but it's just beautiful, it's timeless, and I painted it black to kind of make it a little bit more designer looking. Actually, with this project, I learned to use the nail gun for the first time to attach the fluting to the cabinets, and the nail gun quickly became my favorite power tool. Yeah, it's definitely my favorite power tool ever since this project. But at the time of doing this project, actually, I didn't even have a miter saw or a jigsaw or any kind of saw, like power saw. So we essentially cut all of the fluting pieces, there's like over 100 of them, I don't even remember, by hand. Like a miter box, like a hand saw. So that was definitely very time consuming, and I wish that I had a miter saw at the time of this project. But, you know, as I've been kind of doing more projects and things, I have been kind of building my power tool set. So with each large project, I've just been investing in a power tool. And for this one, I knew I needed a nail gun. Didn't necessarily need a miter saw. So yeah, nail gun, get it. It's awesome. And just like my last project, like the built-ins, it's very important to pay attention to those tiny details. They make a huge difference. So I actually added legs to these cabinets and handles, and I think that really elevated the overall look and made it look designer. And you know, when we have people who come over and they're like, oh, that cabinet looks nice or something, and I tell them that we actually DIY'd it, they can't believe it. So I would say definitely pay attention to it. You can go for whatever look you're looking for, but definitely, you know, add some legs, add some handles, and that will definitely be like the cherry on top for your project. Now let's talk about the one thing I would change if I was to redo this project, and that is the top. So I actually used 3 wood pieces to create this top, and the main reason is because I couldn't find anything that fit the size of this area, and I wanted it to have a little bit of a ledge. And so that's why I created it with 3 separate pieces. I stained them. It still looks really great. I don't really have any complaints about it. But if I could go back, I would maybe invest a little bit more time and a little bit more money to find one solid piece that would fit this need, and I would go with that instead. But regardless, I love this cabinet. It looks great, it functions, and it fits the area perfectly, and it's actually my most popular video on YouTube. So make sure to check it out. This one will also be linked down in the description box. All right, let's talk about this next project, which is the IKEA Tarva dresser that I DIY'd for our closet. Now, I am not standing in the closet because the lighting isn't good and it's small in there, but I am in our bedroom, which is close to the closet. Anyways, we really needed some drawers for our PJs, socks, and things like that, and we don't really have that in our closet. It's just shelving and hanging kind of rods. So we really needed some drawers, and This Tarva dresser, the 3-drawer dresser, fits perfectly on one of the walls in our closet. This one, again, I got lucky and I found it in the as is section at IKEA. I think it retails for $180. I don't remember exactly how much I bought it, but I did buy it for cheaper and it worked out great. It did have a little bit of a dent in the back, but you can't see it because it's on the back. So again, make sure you always check the as is section at IKEA. But for this project, I actually challenged myself to only use material that I already had from past projects. So I did not buy anything new for this DIY, which was really cool, and it really pushed me to be creative and look through my DIY stash and see what I have that I can use. With that said, I actually created picture frame moldings for the front of the drawers just to give them a little bit of dimension, a little bit of interest, and not have them be so flat. And in order to do that, I actually used the half-round moldings from the last project I just talked about that I had left over to create the picture frame moldings. So from this project though, I actually learned how to do a miter cut, and this time I did have a miter saw, which made it really easy to do, but I still had to kind of practice to get the miter cuts perfectly so they sit flush and nice. Another thing that I actually learned from not doing in this project was caulking. So this one actually, I think, needed a little bit of caulking around the seams of the miter cuts especially. It would have made it just a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner of a finish. But I did not do that in this project, and I learned that I should do that and not skip the details. So always, you know, do the parts of the project that are not fun, like the sanding, the caulking, the patching, all of that. It's important. It will make a huge difference in your finished look. But nevertheless, it came out great. Again, I changed out the knobs. I actually picked these like kind of vintage looking brass ones. I think I bought them from Amazon. I can't remember, but I really like mixing like a modern look with a vintage look, so I swapped that out instead of using, again, the IKEA basic knobs. Now, for the one thing that I would change if I could go back and redo this project would be to use a wood stain for the drawer fronts instead of the white paint. So I still would use the blue on the outside and the top of the dresser because I really like that dark blue, but I do wish that I had mixed that with a really nice rich stain on the front of the drawers. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting, a little bit more depth instead of the stark white that I used. It's a little bit flat, but that was the challenge. I wanted to use materials that I already had, and I already had both of those paints, so that's why I used them. But yeah, I would have preferred the wood stain, and as you can tell, our bedroom is like a blue and brown theme, even though that's in the closet. I don't know. It still maybe would have been a little bit nicer, but you know, that's all personal preference. Paint it, stain it, however way you like. That's why we like DIYing, and yeah, that's all I have to share for this third project. We are back in the office because why not? And I'm sitting in my new cozy corner that I love so much. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about IKEA hacks, so let's get on track. With that said, I think we're really going to shift gears here and talk about smaller achievable projects that you can do in just a day or just a couple of hours. And this next one is a abstract fall art that I did using the Sort So rug. And the Sort So rug retails for $4.99 right now. But this is the wall art that I'm talking about. I absolutely love this thing. And I also added fringes at the bottom. You can't see the whole thing because it's so big, but I love it so much. And I put this out with our fall decor every year since. And I don't know why. This is just like one of my favorite decor pieces I think that I've ever DIY'd. And it's so affordable. I just used regular acrylic paint. The Sort So rug was $4.99. I think it was maybe cheaper back then. I don't know. I have to go check the receipts. And I just added this like wooden dowel and a little hanging thing using some macrame cord, and boom. So the cool thing about this project is that you can literally do whatever kind of art you want on this blank canvas that you have. And it's just so fun to DIY. That's why we DIY. You can do an abstract art. You can do a detailed art. Whatever your heart desires, and you can do so many of these. I actually just did one for Christmas this past year. I did pack it with our Christmas decor door, so I can't show you guys, but it's just such an easy way to change up your decor. It's very affordable, it's fun to do, And this one actually took me a little bit of time just because of the amount of paint that went into it. So it took a couple of hours, but it was very therapeutic. I had my YouTubers in the background. I was having a good time DIYing it. And I think the one thing that I kind of learned, a little trick with this kind of material, with this rug, if you're painting on it, I would use like a stippling method as opposed to like brushing it on like you normally would. It absorbs a little bit better, saturated into the rug, and you can cover like an area faster and better. So that's what I have to share for my fourth project, and there is nothing that I would change about it because it's perfect, and also you can redo it so many times, so it's all good. Okay, we are here to talk about the last IKEA hack on the list, and I am in the guest room because I realized I've been filming in all of my favorite corners and I could not leave this room out because I absolutely love this room. So here we are. But anyways, the last IKEA hack that I want to share with you guys is actually a wall mirror that's kind of boho, natural, and it was very easy to DIY. It took maybe 10 to 15 minutes, I can't remember, but I basically used a placemat from IKEA. It's called Soiree, I don't know how to pronounce it. They have a ton of different placemats that you can choose from, and I basically picked this round placemat. I bought some round mirrors from Michael's actually. I think I couldn't find round mirrors at IKEA when I went, but they have a bunch of those at IKEA as well. You can pick it up. I just glued the mirror on top of the placemat. I added some jute detailing around the mirror just to kind of finish it off. And that really was it for the DIY. Again, super easy. I added a little bit of hanging loop on the back, and I ended up using these mirrors. I actually made two of them in the DIY renter-friendly bathroom makeover that I did for my parents a while back. Again, I will leave all of these videos down below for you guys to check out, but it just went with the overall look that we were going for that bathroom. I actually made a very similar one last year when I was DIYing the gallery wall in our home downstairs, and I wanted to have a mirror in the gallery wall that wasn't square because all the frames were square, so I wanted to kind of break that up. So I thought of this DIY, and I actually DIY'd another one that I did not film, but it is in that makeover, so I will leave that video down below for you guys. I use a different placemat. I actually think this time I used the mirror from IKEA, and it turned out perfect. Again, it's such an easy DIY to do. I wanted to save the easiest one for last, and yeah, those are my top 5 IKEA hacks that I wanted to share with you guys today. And honestly, if you have made it this far into the video, make sure that you're subscribed because there will be a lot more IKEA hacks, IKEA projects, room makeovers coming up on my channel. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up because it will let YouTube know that you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Here we go. Look at the lens. Look at the lens, not the screen, because that would look weird. Okay. Hopefully my audio is okay. First time using new camera, new mic, new tripod, new lights. The video is filmed. I will link that video. Okay, no.